Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Kryptocraft with your host, Nighthawk. To start off this episode, we are going to take a trip into the Nether and head out to our lava collection station. It looks like the lava station is currently run out, so we need to get that running again. Currently, it is located out this direction a ways. So let's get on over there. I've also been collecting materials to get our force fields online. Did a little bit of figuring out of a little bit more testing with the force fields and figured some things out. Looks like I'm currently the only one online right now, which is somewhat unusual, but it is a Saturday morning, so people may be busy today. So we're over out this direction. And I suspect what happened here is that it's not out of lava in the area, but that it's the collector is just stuck in the ground right now, because there's still quite a bit of lava in this area. Oh, well, it is getting lava, it's just being slow about it. I wonder if the nether just was not loaded properly or not. It's not pumping out quite as much as I'm used to it pumping out, but that could just be a matter of how this thing is connected right now. Looks like it's dipped in there pretty good, so... You know, I didn't check my jetpack before I started here. Oh, good. So you can see it's this is actually yeah, it's been moved around quite a bit, and we've done quite a number on the lava in different places. But there it seems to be collecting faster. Huh, I wonder what its problem was. You can actually see the lava moving around and regenerating its positioning out there. So if we go this direction a little bit, we can see where it was last located. You can see the edge of the lava pools there as they kind of flow in, and how much more netherrack is now visible. If we go over this way a little bit, you can see over in the distance there, you see just how low the lava level has been taken. This whole little peninsula out here is all below lava level. So that's pretty cool how quickly that seems to go. What is that? Oh, it went in here. Pyrite. So on Thursday night's live stream, we were doing some testing of the force fields and found out that they are not exactly blast resistant for people inside them if the blasts are close. You die. And let's just say the controls to turn on the force field projector were inside of the force field when we were done. I don't really want to go mess with those guys. So I ended up losing pretty much all the stuff that I had on me at the time. Not a huge thing, but it was a little bit of a surprise to everyone. Flip was kind enough to build new stuff for me, including this lovely diamond drill. Let's see if we can find our way back up to a passageway up here. So, as a result, interesting, the netherrack doesn't get picked up by the backpack. As a result, I'm kind of a little bit low on the resources, or the armor and stuff that I had. I don't have my enchanted swords and stuff, but, oh, apparently I'm out of power on my drill. What is in the way? What is blocking my way? That is weird. There's like an invisible block in the way here. Anyway. Wow, that is weird. I guess we'll have to go a different direction here. I still need to make a lap pack and some things like that to make better use of the drill. But Flip was kind enough to make the drill for me, and that's going to help things out a whole bunch. Oh, I'm not as far away from it as I thought I was. And also lost some of the force field materials inside, but I've got everything made for what I want to do with it now. The next step is actually, now that we've got the lava turned back on, so our power production is working again. Or will continue to work, I should say. Yikes. Here's me having a hard time with my little spiral staircase there. So yeah, the long story short is I now have all of the stuff figured out to actually put the force field up around a nuclear reactor, and I'm pretty confident in that it will sufficiently protect the area around the reactor. The only thing that I've seen in my testing actually get through the reactor on a reactor breach was some radiation, and that was with a large plutonium explosion. So I think we should be in good shape to get a nuclear reactor going. Check this out really quick. Looks like we are filling up again. That's good. So that's going to be our project here. Now what I'm starting to do is down here, I need to actually build the level at this height. Maybe 26 would be okay. But basically, if you get too low, we end up with this void fog starting to build up, and just a little bit higher. See how much brighter everything is. So I think we're going to put the nuclear reactor about level 27. That should still be plenty of distance away from everything else up here. So what we can do is I need to get the filler out and create a floor at that level, and we will double check that we have enough clearance, and I will be back with you once I have a floor built on that level. So I'll be back in a moment. Okay, and we're just about done building this floor out. I'm going to hop over here while it's building and add more lights. I forgot to add lights initially as I was starting this, and this became quite the lovely mob spawning platform for a little while. So see, that builds out very quickly. I guess I did end up running out of marble bricks again. I like the marble brick look for this. It kind of gives it a kind of a clean room feel, if you will, which I think will work pretty well for what we're doing here. I'm going to leave it there for the moment. Let's get these guys out of the way. I'm going to leave it right here for the moment. I'll finish up the last little bit of this in a little while. But what I thought we'd do is come over to right about here. Should be a good place for it. And we're going to send power upwards at some point. So we need a spot where we can bring our power down. But what we can do to start with here is get our force fields set up. To do that, we need our extractor, our capacitor, and a projector. And I'm going to need to pick up that energy tesseract for a little bit. So let's grab this, and let's leave behind a torch. And we're going to put... I think we want to put our main reactor here, or at least one reactor, right about here, I think will do. So let's put our projector this way. That makes sure that it faces the correct direction for what we want. We're going to load it with a containment module, and we're going to put 3 strength field modulators in it. And we're also going to move it back away from the projector 2 blocks. So it's the field is actually going to start right here. And let's put some gravel here to mark. So this will be the edge of the field. And depending on how I set this part up, in fact, I think I'm going to change this slightly. We want 4 focus matrices going to increase the height. 2 on either side should make the center of this field. So that's the edge. The center of it should be right here. And then our reactor will go right on top of that block. When we build the reactor, it's going to go right here. And I think we're going to be able to start building reactor components this episode. I don't know for sure, but I think we'll be able to do that. Now we want our capacitor... I kind of want the capacitor right about here, because that's going to be telling us how much energy is in there. And then our extractor we can put right next to that. Now I need some of these cards. I can put a card in that device and a card in there. That hooks up all of the power connections. Now the extractor we want to be switch controlled, at least for the time being. So I'm going to switch him on. I'm going to give him a forcium cell that's nearly full. And that should be all we need to do with this guy for the time being. And we're going to set this up as reactor extraction. And we're going to set this one up as reactor capacitor. We also want him to be switched. I'd like to get to making a control system, but I'm still trying to figure out how that actually works, so not quite ready to use those yet. Reactor projector. And I may change the name of these as well if I decide to add more nuclear reactors, which I probably will. I want to have a couple of them with different designs, and the first reactor that we're going to build is not going to be a huge power producer, but it's going to be one that runs for a long period of time and doesn't take a huge amount of resources to keep it running. I'm going to be using thorium cells to power it. The biggest expense is going to be some of the parts that go into the reactor are going to need iridium, so it's going to take a little while to get it built up to the entire full setup. Now, one of the things I want to power with this is the matter fabricator that we still have yet to build. We're going to get that built here pretty soon, though. So I'm going to go ahead and get this charged up some using the Tesseract here to draw energy from our Buildcraft system. So that's charging up. We can see a little bit of force energy in here, not a whole lot. If I put this guy in here, he should absorb. There we go. Now we're maxed out again. And you can see we've got power going into here. And there's the force field as it's going to end up being. Let's make sure that I can go through it. Switch this to go through. And you can see I still need to strip the torches out. And The one thing that I did find is the force field does have to go all the way around for it to protect, but the one block gap for the power cables does not seem to be too much of an issue, so I'm not too worried about that part. And I may actually route it kind of like where it is right now, so that it will, if we ever do end up with a reactor breach, it won't. Oh, my jetpack's empty. Good thing I wasn't trying to fly anywhere. That would have been bad. Anyway, if we ever do end up with a reactor breach, then having it routed through a smaller passageway like that should contain the majority of it, the explosion. In my tests, I had just one block in the field open for the cable coming out, and it burned up a couple of cables close, and there was some radiation damage, but it didn't reach very far. So now we have our basic reactor set up. I'm going to leave that marking the outside of the field, or the position for the reactor. And let's see about getting torches right at the field boundaries here, at each corner, just to help mark it out. There we go. That way we know where the field is actually going to reach when we start running some cables and things. Okay, so let's see how we're doing on energy here. That's at 4% charge. We've got 400 energy in here. I don't know exactly how much energy it takes going into the capacitors to keep this thing running. So that's going to be something that still has to be tested. Doesn't look like it uses too much, but it's hard to say when there's still energy coming from the capacitor going into the projector. So I'll have to do a little bit of research so that I can tune how much energy gets fed into the extractors to keep the projector running. Now the plan is, maybe not right away, but the plan is to have the force field system set up so that it only turns on the force field if there is risk of the reactor going critical. So if the reactor is getting up above a certain temperature threshold, then some redstone will turn on the force field and turn off the reactor until the reactor temperature drops back down. That should even eliminate the need for the force fields at all, but the nice thing is they will also provide some protection while you're working on the reactor to make sure that if you put the components in wrong or take the wrong thing out, that it won't destroy everything instantly. You are, in my video, causing problems. So that's the plan there. Let's go start taking a look at what we need to build this reactor. Now, the basic reactors are not going to be too bad. We actually need 5 reactor chambers in addition to the actual nuclear reactor. And if we look at the lava, for some reason the nether station seems to have stopped transmitting lava. So I'm going to have to go check that yet again. But if we look at the recipe for the nuclear reactor, we need 3 reactor chambers, a generator, and a circuit. And the reactor chambers are just a machine block with some dense copper plates. So those guys are super, super easy to make. We're going to take 4 stacks of copper right now that apparently all went into the backpack. Let's turn it off for the time being. Let's go up here and toss all of this copper into the compressor. Take my jetpack off and toss it into a charging station, as well as the drill. Okay, so let's go over here, and we're going to make a bunch of these dense copper plates. Just going to keep it running. We're going to need a lot of these. Between just needing them to make the reactors themselves, we're also going to need them to make the thorium cells. We're going to need them on an ongoing basis making thorium cells. And this is not necessarily the most... oh, wow. Where'd the words go? It's not necessarily the most efficient energy production method, but the thorium cells actually last a pretty long time, so they should do okay. Let's get a machine block recipe going. Let's also take a stack of this iron, or almost a stack, and make more. Oops, I took too much. Okay, so we got some refined iron. There's the recipe for our lapotron crystals that we need for our matter fabricator. And let's make 4 of these to start. So that's the nuclear reactor itself plus 1 reaction chamber. So it does use a fair bit of materials to make the actual reactors, but it's not too horrible. Let's see, do I have any advanced circuits laying around? We're also going to need to plug in some... Oh, I don't have my jetpack on. We're going to need to plug in some wireless redstone to turn the reactor on and off. And we're going to need to make a sensor kit. And I'd also like to make a industrial information panel for this as well. But that might come a little bit later. I also want to see if I can get enough range upgrades where I can put the reactor, or the display board, on at the top of the factory, so you don't have to go all the way down to check it out. So that's gonna be... I need circuits. This is such a pain to make these circuits. What makes silicon cells? Redstone. Electrolyzing sand makes them. I like that recipe. I do need to get the sand producer, the sand making station wired back up. So we don't have a whole lot of sand right now. Have enough to get by, of course, but it's probably one of the resources that we're lowest on right now. Toss that in there. Let's stress out the power system just a little bit here. Wow, really? I would have thought the electrolyzer and the blast furnace together would have caused some power drain. Guess our power system is getting stronger than I thought it was. So getting to the point where we have a pretty good supply of aluminum. And we can use aluminum and electrum to make our circuits and get more of them. Well, we can use aluminum in place of the refined iron to make the circuits. That's ferrous. That's not what I was looking for. Let's see. We do want some of this. Oh, also during the live stream, we had a bit of an accident with our little storage room here. Hannibal went and put a piece of industrial TNT down in here, and I wanted to get rid of it right away because, you know, TNT in this room would be a very big disaster. Unfortunately, I didn't know that punching industrial TNT sets it off, so it basically blew away all of our chests that we had in there and created a huge mess. We managed to get all the items back, but we ended up having to put them all into the sorting system. So, huge mess. Let's see, we need 3 for that, so I need 4 more reactor chambers. So let's get those made. I'm definitely going to need more carbon plates. Yeah, so anyway, let's see. I know I'm not going to be able to make all of the components for the reactor design. I will post a link to the reactor design I'm planning on using for the initial reactor. It's probably not going to be the only reactor that we end up with in the long run, but it seems like a good starting point for a good stable reactor that produces a reasonable bit of power. It's 112 EU per tick that it produces, so a reasonably good producer of power. And that's going to be the first reactor that we plug into this system. I need to get... I mean, it's going to be a whole bunch of stuff that I still have to make before we can turn this thing on. So, what I think I'm going to do is spend some time now to make all of these components and get all of the parts ready and in a chest down in the... in a chest at the reactor, and then use those to make the or then the next episode, or maybe a couple episodes depending on how long it takes me to get that all made, we can get a reactor going. So I think that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoy this, are enjoying this series, and enjoying the hijinks that go on in the server. There seems to be... Thursday nights seem to end up with a whole bunch of things happening on a regular basis, so make sure to check out the live streams Thursday nights, and support all of the Kryptocraft members. I greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!